My name is Xander Dack, and today I'm going to be giving a toolbox talk on pneumatic impact safety and maintenance. So before you use an impact tool, it's a good idea to put on your proper PPE, your personal protective equipment. Today I'm just using safety glasses because I'm not really going to be working with the tool. But if you were to be using the tool for a long period of time, it's a good idea to have hearing protection because, for one, these guys are pretty loud and it can cause hearing loss over time. And it can also be a good idea to wear gloves as well, just to protect your hands from what you're working with. And when you use an impact wrench, you want to read the instruction manual, just so you know all the requirements and the specified warnings. And also, when you use an impact gun, you want to wear the proper clothing. So probably not a good idea to be wearing a watch or baggy sleeves or any kind of bracelet. And if you have long hair, it's probably a good idea to put it back just so it doesn't get tangled up in the turning head. And you want to make sure your air supply to your impact is dry. That can reduce rust inside of the impact and prevent it from malfunctioning and hurting you or somebody else. Most systems have an inline filter, such as the one that we're connected to, but if it does not, you can always purge your valve to blow out any excess moisture. And you want to use the correct hose and fitting for your tool. See this one here, it's pretty securely in place, but usually that's not a big issue. You'll know if it won't fit, it just won't fit. And check your hose for any damage before you do any kind of work. Like this one is brand new, but if you're using a pre-used hose, you want to check it for any kind of holes, cracks, or bulges, just so if you're using it, it doesn't explode or cause any kind of other damage or injury. And you also want to make sure your hose isn't a trip hazard. This one is kind of hanging out for the time being just because I'm taking this video, but if I were in the work environment, I'd kind of want to make sure that there's really no excess hose laying around so that somebody could be walking over it and catch a bit and maybe drag it and trip or anything like that. And don't carry the tool by its hose. It could fall off of the connection point and maybe injure your foot, or it could just fall off and damage itself. So that's not a good idea. You always want to securely hold it how you would be working with it. And only use the accessories that fit the impact properly. Generally, when you're using any kind of bit, they're pretty universal to fit these heads, but if you're using sockets or anything else to go with an impact gun, it kind of varies, so you just want to make sure that it's manufactured to fit your product. Otherwise, like I've mentioned before, it can cause some kind of accident or it could ruin your workpiece. So you only want to use the impact for the right uses as well. If you don't have a good idea whether or not the impact is best suited for your application, it's probably a good idea to ask for a professional opinion from somebody that might know a little bit more. And if you really don't have an idea, it's probably not a good idea to use the impact at all, just to avoid any kind of injury. And when you're working, inspect your area. Like right now we're not working with the impact, I'm just demonstrating, but you'd want to inspect your area for any kind of air lines, electrical, or gas that you might come in contact with your fasteners that could cause you injury. You just want to make sure there's none around, none that you're going to puncture, and none that'll harm you. And make sure to unplug your hose when not using the impact. So it's just that simple. It can reduce the chance of somebody accidentally bumping it and the impact going off and tangling up in something. So it's always a good idea to have it off, and take proper care of your impact to make sure it runs safely for you and runs efficiently. So you want to keep it in a suitable condition that is dry and just any kind of condition where it won't get damaged for future use. Thanks again. My name is Xander Dack, and this has been a Toolbox Talk.